welcome. Thank you everyone for joining this lockdown webinar to learn more about the work and project management solutions available within Office 365 and importantly, how to determine which is the best fit for your organization, department or team. And as part of this session, I will also be providing some high-level demonstrations of the tools. Again, as per Lauren's instructions, feel free to post questions during the session and we will review them at the end. So the agenda for today, I'll start with a very quick introduction to Wellington before looking at some of the most common project management challenges that organizations encounter. I'll then delve into the Microsoft Work and Project Management platforms to firstly highlight what's available within Office 365 to make your work life easier. And there have been quite a few new developments in recent months. And I'll also be showing you some of the solutions in action. Specifically, I'll be covering Planner, Project for the Web, Project Online, as well as Power BI, and if time permitting, we'll also have a look at Teams as well. Firstly, a little bit about Wellington. So we started way back in 2001 as a project management consulting firm based in Windsor. We now, in the present day, have offices in the UK, in Ireland, and Spain as well, and we offer a variety of services that span consultancy, training and technology with a real focus on project and work management. We've collected quite a few badges along the way and we're recognized today as a specialist Microsoft Gold PPM Partner, an APM accredited training provider. We're also a P3M3 accredited consulting organization for maturity assessments, and we're also approved as a G-Cloud supplier, which might be of interest to public sector organizations that are looking to direct award. We also run and compile the annual State of Project Management report, and we also deliver the annual Future PMO conference. Further details on all of this and more are available at wellington.co.uk, with the address being displayed there in the lower right-hand corner. Lastly, we've worked with quite a diverse mix of clients, and the one thing that they all have in common is that they all run projects. And you can view a number of case studies alongside the benefits that have been realized on our website. So please do check them out by following the link that is again displayed at the bottom. To start, let's take a step back and look at some of the typical business challenges encountered by organizations. So I won't go through the entire list, but just to cherry pick a few. Firstly, there's often a lack of visibility from both a project and resource perspective. There are typically issues with consistency and governance, with everyone typically working how they want, and reporting tends to be a manual and subjective process. And lastly, collaboration is also quite challenging because typically organizations are relying on emails and shared drives to do all of their collaboration within. The list does go on, but there's some of the issues. So what does the typical organization look like? Well, it's made up of a variety of departments and teams. And in one way or another, they're likely to be interconnected and potentially running joint projects or campaigns or product launches or some other work management activities. But in order to complete those activities, they're probably using a number of different apps and managing work, again, in their own unique ways. It's not efficient. It's collaboration that is not going to be that effective. And to top it off, there's generally a lack of a joined up view or clarity around project statuses. So you don't know what's happening or what actions to take. Now, the good news is that increasingly the typical organization is also adopting the cloud and specifically Office 365, within which you've got access to a number of project and work management solutions. And that, of course, is what we are looking at today. The solutions that I'm referring to are, again, Planner, the recently released Project for the Web, and of course, Project Online, which when used individually or in a hybrid setup can help address the key issues and business issues that we covered a couple of slides ago. And Microsoft's vision is that they want to enable teams to work the way in which they want and for organizations to get the results that they need. So for teams that need a simple board-based solution to create lightweight plans, we have Microsoft Planner, which many of you have probably used within Office 365. And for those teams or areas that need a bit more functionality, for example, the ability to create task dependencies and access to the traditional timeline views, and with the scheduling power offered by Microsoft Project, we have the recently launched Project for the Web. Whilst for real power users, but also need the ability to set baselines, view critical paths, and access enterprise-level resource management capability, there's Project Online. In some areas, a department may use just the one solution. In others, where there are multiple teams involved with varying levels of maturity, a hybrid approach might be more sensible. So we could have scenarios where both Project for the Web and Project Online are being used, and Power BI providing that rolled-up view. Here is a feature comparison between the different solutions, with some of the key high-level differences being highlighted. You can, of course, access this table and further information at the address that's displayed at the bottom. So to reiterate the positioning, the greater the scale or complexity of work, the more likely you are to use Project Online. Importantly, for anyone that's using Project Online, so by that I'm referring to Plan 3 or Plan 5, you should know that you already have access to Project Plan 1, which is Project for the Web, as part of your licensing. So it's not really a case of licensing one or the other. You can actually have access to both within the organization. So time to see the solutions in action now. But before I go into the demo, just a very quick caveat that this will be a high-level overview of Planner, Project for the Web, and Project Online to highlight some of the key differences. And when I showcase Project for the Web today, I'll be focusing on the core solution rather than demonstrating the extensibility that you can achieve through the use of Power Apps. And that is something that I will be doing on my next webinar. So please be sure to tune into that. But for now, let me switch over to my demo environment. And you should all see now the homepage to Office 365 being displayed on the screen. And this obviously features all of our branding from Wellington, Work Smarter being our tagline. And what I want to focus on primarily or initially is Planner. Then I will show you Project for the Web, and then I'll go into Project Online, wrapping it all up at the end with Microsoft Power BI. But for now, I'm going to go straight into Planner. And Planner, again, is a solution that many of you may have used. It's a Kanban board, task board type solution. It's very, very easy to use. And importantly, you can access it here in the browser. You can also download apps on iPhone or Android devices as well. And the page that I'm looking at the moment is the Planner Hub. So I'm essentially seeing a list of all of the different plans that I'm involved in. And very clearly, we can see the number of tasks within each one of these plans. I can also see the statuses, so the number that have not yet been started, the number in progress, those that are late, and those that have been completed. And if I drill down into that particular plan, again, you see the interface, very simple, card-based, very easy to use. And it's also very easy to go in and actually create brand new tasks as well. You can also create your own buckets there along the top as appropriate. But first of all, let's go in, add a brand new task. So simply click that button. We'll call this a demo task. Set a due date. We'll set that for Monday, saying as tomorrow is a bank holiday. And I'm going to assign this to Adele and click away, add the task. So the task has been added. I can also go in. I can fill out other information linking to this task. So the priority score of this particular task itself. I can specify the start date, the due date. I can add additional notes. I can also create a checklist if I want to against that task. I can also upload attachments as well. And something else that might be of interest is the fact that you can create custom labels and label specific tasks. So these are example labels that we already have in place, but you can create your own labels as well. Closing out of this, in order to update the status of a task, it literally is a case of clicking and dragging into the relevant bucket. So it's really easy to navigate around. And that is the board view that I'm looking at the moment. If I want to go in and look at more of a traditional calendar layout, I can go into the schedule. And here I can see the number of tasks in a particular period. If I wanted to click down into those, which I won't do for now. Reporting for Planner doesn't use Power BI. It relies on the inbuilt charts, and they themselves are pretty powerful. So these are some of the out-of-the-box charts that you get on day one. And if I scroll down, you can see there's quite a bit of information that's coming through. You can see per individual, the number of tasks that are late or those that have not yet been started, whatever the status might be. And you can also go in and apply your own filtering to get the exact views that you want to see. So let's have a look at all the late items, and straight away the report have updated to show me only the late tasks so that I can really focus in on that. So to recap Planner, it's a very simple task board-based interface. It doesn't allow you to create things like dependencies. It doesn't show you the traditional Gantt chart views either. But what it does give you is a very structured way in which to start managing basic projects and basic tasks. For organizations that want a bit more, we need to move towards Project for the Web, which was launched very recently. And that's what I'll be demonstrating in just a moment. Before I go into that, let me just explain what you're looking at on the screen at the moment. So this is a screen called Project Home. And Project Home is a great screen because what it does is, for the end user, it aggregates all of the projects that they are involved in and displays them on this centralized view. So this is showing me projects that are being managed in Project Online. I'm also seeing projects in there that are being managed in Project for the Web. And in due course, this will also show me projects that are being managed in Planner or even Azure DevOps. So that is the vision statement that Microsoft currently have. But back to the point now, I'm going to go in and create a brand new project using the quite recently launched Project for the Web. And again, to caveat, I'm going to be showing you the basic interface to this solution today. You can extend it using Microsoft Power Apps. That again will be part of a separate webinar that I'm running in a month or so. In the meantime, if you did want to request a more detailed demo, that of course is something that you can do by using the contact details that come up at the end. But going back into Project for the Web now, I'm going to show you how easy it is to go in and create brand new projects, because it literally takes seconds. So this is my project. I've got access to 3 different views, and we'll be cycling through these views as we go through. But for now, I'm going to go in and add a brand new task. Not feeling too creative, so we'll call it task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. I'll go up to 50. Maybe I won't. I'll leave it at 4. So these are some tasks that I've just created. One of the things that I can do here that I can't do in Planner is create subtasks. So I'm going to select these 3 tasks there. I'm going to click on these ellipses and I'm going to make these subtasks. Okay. So task 1 now being the summary task. I can also go in and assign people to this project or to these individual tasks. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to start typing in the name of one of my colleagues. So I'm going to type in the name of Megan. So there we have Megan. And right off the bat, it's asking me if I want to create a brand new Office 365 security group, which would open up access to a whole wave of additional elements, which I'm not going to go into detail on today. But rather than creating a brand new Office 365 group, what I'm going to do is add this particular project that I've just started to an existing group. So I'm going to go in and assign it to this Project for the Web group that we've set up earlier. When I click Add and Assign, you're going to see, but we've got this group members notification here at the top, and you're going to see that jump up to a high number. So there, it's jumped up now to 5 group members. So when I go into my next task, when I want to assign somebody, it's automatically showing me a list of the group members that already exist within that particular entity. So I can go in and assign work to different individuals. The reason I'm laughing is this character here, Ted Danson, this is actually one of my colleagues. It's a chap called Antonio Berra, and we in the office affectionately call him Ted Danson, which is why we've named this user Ted Danson. So I thought that was worth pointing out. So there's Ted. I'm not going to assign Ted, he won't like it. I'll go in, assign some work to Adele, and I'm also going to assign some work to Alex as well. I've got the ability here to go in and add other columns over and above what I can see on the screen at the moment. So we will add in a few. We will add in effort. We will also add in effort completed. Let's also drop in some dependencies as well. And let's now go in and start assigning some effort. So for this first task, let's say it's going to be 4 days. The next one, we'll make it 3 days. And for the last one, we're going to say 7 days. And I can also go into dependencies and start linking the tasks up. And what's great about Project for the Web is that when I click into this final task, it automatically displays the tasks that come before it for me to be able to create those links. However, I'm not going to go in and do that right now. One thing that I haven't done so far is give this project a name. So I'm going to click there and give this a title, APM Webinar Demo. And why don't I put a space in between? Okay, so we've just created that project, given it a name. And what I'm going to do now is cycle through some of the additional views that you have access to. So the first view that I want to show you is the board view. Now, we started off with Planner, and the reason we did that is because this view that you're seeing right now, it's the same view that you have in Planner. It's the same interface. But the difference with Project for the Web is it gives you multiple interfaces to choose from. So I'm looking at one of the default out-of-the-box views at the moment. This is showing me different buckets. They're grouped by the progress or the state of the tasks. I can, of course, go in, group things by finish date, or I can create my own bespoke buckets as well. And what's really nice about this interface is if I click and drag one of my tasks along to in progress, you'll see that it's automatically updated now to 50%. And if I go back to the grid view, you will see that we've actually completed 50% of our task as well. So all of the views are interlinked and they're all correlated. So I'm going to move that back to where it was and show you my favorite view here, which happens to be the timeline. So this is a really nice view. It's very interactive. It's click and drag and drop, really simple to use. And the first thing I'm actually going to do is start linking some of my tasks together. So in order to do that, all I do is select that, link it up, and bang, my tasks are now linked. This task I'd originally assigned, I think it was 7 days. I've decided actually, you know what, we need a bit more time. So I'm going to click and drag and extend it out, and then I'm going to link it back. In order to mark something complete, you can also, rather than having to type things in, you can just tick the box. And it makes that really satisfying ping. And again, this also then reflects back in the other views. So if I go back to the board, these tasks are now completed. And I've also got the ability to go into the grid and see that view again. So Project for the Web, it's pretty new. It was launched several months ago. It's still being rolled out globally across all of the different tenants by Microsoft. This is Plan 1. This is a very simple overview that I've provided today. You can extend it to quite an extent using Microsoft Power Apps and Power Automate and some of the other great stuff that Microsoft have available within the Power Platform. That, again, I will be covering in a separate demo. So far, I've shown you Planner, which is for very simple tasks. I've shown you Project for the Web, which really sits in the middle of Planner and Project Online, which is the next solution that I'm about to look at. And when I go into Project Online, I'll show you some of the key differences between the solutions as they stand out of the box. So this is the home page to Project Online. And this view is set up for a super user, so I can see lots of different options available. If I'd logged in as, let's say, a team member, then the view would be altered and I would see fewer options based upon my read, write, access rights. But at the moment, I'm going to chat through some of these views and show you some of the key differences. So this being one of them is this home page. So you've got this little mini dashboard, I guess, that enables you to track your work. You can go in, view all of the project portfolio in one place. There's also workflow governance approvals available within Project Online. So if you want projects to step through that stage gate process and have it supported by a workflow that requires approvals, that kind of thing you can do really easily using Project Online. So the more complex projects that you have, the better suited they would be to Project Online. We can also assign work to people and get those tasks to appear in their task list, and they can then report back on progress on those tasks and feed it back to the PMs. We can also do timesheeting in Project Online, and you can also do out-of-the-box risk and issue management with Project Online. And to show you one of the really nice views within Project Online, it's the Project Center. The Project Center shows you a real-time view of the project portfolio in a roll-up fashion. And here at the top, I can see a timeline showing me some of my key projects that I'm particularly interested in. But here in the bottom, I've got this really detailed view that actually shows me all of my projects, and I've got them grouped by where they sit in terms of departments and where they sit in their life cycle. We've also got different columns that we can display but outline the status of a project. We've got a project KPI that a PM can manually set, but then we've also got some system-generated KPIs that we can also display that compare the original baseline of a project against the actual progress to date. So there's a lot you can do there. You can also drill down into the project and get further insight. So that's not the screen I want to show. I'm going to start here. So this is a workflow status screen. So here I can see the graphical depiction of the project lifecycle. I can see where I am at the moment, and I can also see which stage gates have been completed so far and what remains on my to-do list. You've also got the ability to view a really detailed schedule here in the browser. And one of the points I should have made earlier actually is that Project Online is the official enterprise extension to Microsoft Project on the desktop. So this is the desktop scheduling tool, but visible here in the browser. And you can also open this project up in Microsoft Project on the desktop. That's one of the key differences between this and Project for the Web. In Project for the Web, you can only access your schedule through the browser. It does not allow you to open it in Microsoft Project. But something else of interest for you guys is that the scheduling engine in Project for the Web is the same scheduling engine that's available here in Project Online and in Microsoft Project on the desktop. So it's still got that amazing power behind it. So again, my schedule, it's visible here in the browser, really detailed. I can do some really detailed resource assignments here. And I'm going to go into one of the resource assignments shortly, actually, just to show you what the resource center looks like. Before I do that, I'm going to show you one other thing here, and that is the project site. So every project that you create within Project Online also has a corresponding project site link to it. So it's a SharePoint site. It's where you've got this web part at the top that shows me late tasks, but it will also in a moment cycle back to showing me an overall timeline of our project. But we've got sections here where the project managers can provide regular updates, and these updates then feed back into Power BI or the highlight reporting that we want to do. And we can also see things like critical issues, risks, actions, changelog items, all of this information being displayed in this particular view. And of course, you've got all of these different logs. I will go into just the risk log to demonstrate the concept, but there we have a rolled view of the risks and issues within Project Online. Now, natively with Project for the Web, you can't do this, as in with Plan 1, but again, you can extend Project for the Web to give you some of this capability, and that, again, I will be covering in a separate session. What I'm going to do is show you a couple of other areas within Project Online. First of all, I'll show you the Resource Center. So the Enterprise Resource Pool gives you the ability to pool all of your resources into this centralized repository, and then you can tag your resources with different attributes. So I've got all of my resources grouped by role. You can also group them by departments, by team, by location, by language skills, or whatever attribute you want to use, really. And I've also selected some of my resources here. And the reason I've done this is because I want to see what they're working on. And I'm going to show you some of the legacy reports within Project Online itself. And I'm obviously going to move into Power BI shortly. But this kind of roll-up information, it's really simple to retain within Project Online. And resource management is, again, one of the key benefits that Project Online currently offers. And there's a lot more you can do on the resource management side over and above what I'm showing you today. But the benefit is for project managers or resource managers is when they're building their schedules, they can make more informed choices around who they're going to use and when they're going to schedule the tasks for, because they can see in real time people's availability, they can see the demand that's in their diary, and they can also see what their capacity looks like as well. So there's a lot of power when it comes to enterprise resource management within Project Online. So that was that. The final element I'm going to show you here is actually the Power BI side. In fact, no, let me show you one other thing first of all. So I am going to click around, and I'm going to click around because I'm going to open up Microsoft Teams, and then what I'll do is go into one of my teams and show you how we've structured some of the tabs. So let's go into Project for the Web, actually. So this is one of the teams that I looked at earlier. And of course, there's a section there with Jean-Luc Picard clapping. So let's just play that out. So this is a section where team members can go on and converse about the project. You can have centrally shared files. You can set up wikis as well. Importantly, you can also view your project plans, the live project plans from Project for the Web or Planner or from Project Online within Teams. And in fact, lots of my colleagues now, rather than having multiple tabs open on their browser, would just open up Teams at the beginning of the day. And from there, they can access all of the different teams that they are involved in and go about their daily business of doing their work. And this, again, is a live view. So I can go in, I can view the grid, the board. I can also go into the timeline. So there's a lot you can do there. In fact, let's just scroll that along, get some tasks being displayed. There we are. So really where I'm going to go next now is Power BI. So yes, you're generating all of this data using Project for the Web and using Project Online or any other solutions that you might be using. How do you bring it all together and roll up all this data to provide people with centralized views of the statuses? So this is where Power BI comes into play. And this is, by the way, the final part of the demo today. So this will be going on for another 5 minutes, after which I've literally got a couple of other slides to show you. Then we'll go into the Q&A session. So this is a Power BI dashboard that we've built up ourselves. Very simple. We've got various tiles. Behind each one of these tiles is a whole other report that I'll drill down into a moment. And I should also point out that Power BI is not only looking at data from Project Online or SharePoint or Project for the Web. Literally any solution you have within your organization, you could plug into Power BI. It can really tap into any data source and show you that data being presented in these dashboards or the detailed reports. So if I scroll down, you'll see that on this dashboard, we've are showing things like projects by governance phase. We've also got cost information being displayed, and we can also see there lessons by phase, lessons by category, and this information is actually coming from SharePoint. And we've also got some information coming in there from Azure DevOps, just to illustrate the fact that you can actually merge data from different solutions on a single view. One of the party tricks offered by Power BI is the ability for users to go in and ask questions about the data. So you don't need to know how to write really complex queries to build reports. As long as you understand the data set, you can go in and ask questions. So I've got some pre-canned questions here that I could click on to get started, but I won't do that. I'm going to type a question in, and the question I'm going to ask is, show me cost variance by project name. NAM will work as well. So I've misspelled name, but still it understands what I'm trying to achieve, and there is the report. And if I now want colleagues to be able to access this report as well, what I need to do is pin this to my dashboard, which is what I'm doing now. Go back to the dashboard, and there is the report. Different colors, albeit, but it is the same report. And I could change the visualization on there as well. So if I didn't like that particular layout, I wanted to see a tree map report or a donut report or something else, I could very easily go in and set that up. I'm going to delete that tile and cycle through some of the standard reports that Microsoft provide. The data that I'm looking at for these reports that I'm about to show now is coming from Project Online. We're producing very similar reports, merging data between Project for the Web and Project Online. Again, it's something we've done for multiple clients. So these are the Power BI reports that you get out of the box from Microsoft, and we can customize these to a large extent. So we can apply your custom filters, we can add your custom fields in here as well. And with some of the great functionality that Power BI offers is the ability for people to go in and add bookmarks. So if you are going in and you're resetting lots of filters and you've got to do that for multiple reports, you don't want to do that all the time. So set your filters and then bookmark them. And then you just cycle through your bookmarks. Really simple. And if you've got people that won't necessarily come into Power BI off their own back, you can also subscribe them to these reports. So add a new subscription, specify the name of the person that I want to receive this. I will stick to Megan. Specify which reports I want to send her, what the frequency is going to be, how many occurrences, sorry, and this will again end up in her inbox. So that's a standard report, and all of these chart elements are interactive and they act as filters as well. So if I wanted to see all of the enhancement projects, let's say, I click on that segment of the donut report and the entire report data set updates to show me that particular data set. I can also access very similar reports, but with different charts thrown in on top. So this one here is depicting a global organization that wants to maybe see where the projects are taking place and where the highest concentration of projects are. So for us, at the moment, they're in Paris, in France. And if I click on that particular element there, it's going to zoom in to that part of the world and show me the projects that are within that particular region. Conscious of time, so I'm going to cycle through some of these other reports really quickly. You can also access these timeline reports, and you've got the ability to play with these filters and look at different levels of granularity in that data. But that hopefully is self-explanatory. You can see different types of projects, when they're occurring, what the percentage complete is. So again, lots of data being presented at your fingertips, and this is produced automatically. As long as people are managing their projects using Project for the Web or Project Online, this is automatic. You can set whatever frequency you want for report creation. It could be once every hour if you wanted it to be. I'm not going to dwell upon all these reports, but I will show you some of the breadth. So we've got resource availability. So really nice resource focused report here, which shows me a availability heat map. I can also see demand and capacity over time. I can see availability over time. I can also drill down into granular level of detail by selecting specific individuals. So there's Adele, and I can see that Adele has 13 assignments across 3 different projects. I can see a personalized heat map up there as well. We've also got project status reports. And again, this is out of the box. We can customize and tailor these, but it gives you an indication of a type of reporting you can achieve using Power BI. And because these are pretty high level, if you want people to go in and look at the detail, you can provide hyperlinks into the project site or even to the schedule or other areas of Project Online or Project for the Web. But again, that concludes this very, very quick demo. So let's talk about next steps. So let me just go into my slide deck again and talk about what next steps might look like. So if you would like to learn more, I can provide you with a tailored demo for you, your team, your colleagues, focused around your core objectives. So please do get in touch using the details that are coming up in just a moment to get that arranged if you would like to do that. And there's no cost associated to that either. If you would like to take a deeper dive, we can also deliver a envisioning workshop, which would be used to look at your current ways of working, to understand the pain points that exist within your organization, and to show you the art of the possible and what the solution makeup might look like within your organization. And the output, as I've talked about, is, aside from what I've covered so far, a tailored implementation roadmap alongside further formalized recommendations for next steps. Alternatively, if you would like to get hands-on, we can deliver a formalized proof of concept so you can start visualizing your data and your processes within the Office 365 platform. Lastly, if you've got SDPS vouchers, and these are vouchers that are available to large organizations with Microsoft Enterprise agreements in place, then you could benefit from free envisioning and planning sessions by simply exchanging those vouchers. So if you want to learn more about that process and what that entails, follow that link that's displayed at the bottom, and that will give you all of the required details. So that's the end of this very short session. We've literally scratched the surface. There's so much more that I could cover off, but obviously with time constraints, it's very difficult. I'm sure you've got questions, so please don't hesitate to get in touch using the details displayed. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, you can either search me. There's only one Baz Khinda on LinkedIn, I can assure you. I've looked. Or you can scan the QR code via the LinkedIn app on your phone. Please also do check out the Wellington website and follow us on LinkedIn, where we regularly announce new events and updates to the Microsoft platform.